The bar was crowded that night. The red and blue lights flashed to the rhythm of the electronic music filling the place. Women laughed, toasted, and some screamed as banknotes flew through the air. At the center of the stage, a man with a sculpted body moved confidently, his intense eyes capturing everyone's attention. Sophie didn't know why she had accepted her friend's invitation to that strip club. It wasn't her kind of place. But after a few glasses of champagne and some teasing from her friends, she relaxed. At least a little. Until her eyes met his. The stripper. He watched her from the stage while dancing for another woman, but Sophie felt that somehow, he had chosen her. The smile he gave before tearing off his shirt made her heart race. When the show ended, she tried to look away, but it was too late. He descended the stage and walked straight to her. "You don't look like someone who frequents this kind of place," he said with an amused tone. Sophie laughed, still nervous. "And you don't look like someone who just dances for money." He raised an eyebrow. "Oh, yeah? And what do I look like?" "Dangerous." His smile widened. "My name is Adrian. Want a private dance?" Sophie hesitated. But his gaze was magnetic, a silent invitation to something she couldn't name. Finally, she nodded. The VIP room was more intimate, with luxurious sofas and soft lighting. Adrian guided her to a seat and approached slowly, his woody scent enveloping the air. "Any rules?" he asked, his voice low and husky. "I don't know how this works," she admitted. "Simple. You just feel." And then he began. The movements were slow and calculated, yet full of intention. His hands never truly touched her, but came close enough to make her skin tingle. Sophie felt his body's heat, the electric tension between them growing. At some point, she stopped thinking and just surrendered to the sensation. When his eyes met hers, it was as if a silent fire burned between them. Unknowingly, Sophie raised her hand and touched his chest. Adrian didn't pull away. Instead, he held her wrist. "I shouldn't let you," he murmured. "Then stop me," she challenged. He didn't stop. From that night, Sophie couldn't get him out of her mind. What was supposed to be just a dance turned into an uncontrollable desire. She returned to the club the following week. And the next. Always looking for him. And Adrian was always waiting. Each encounter was more intense. The touches bolder. The provocations more dangerous. Until one night, he whispered in her ear, "Do you want to continue here or do you want something more real?" Sophie knew she was playing with fire. But she wanted to get burned. They met in a discreet hotel in the city. No neon lights. No audience. Just the two of them. The pent-up desire between them exploded as soon as the door closed. Adrian pulled her to him. Their lips finally met. The kiss was intense, hungry. His hands, once restrained, now roamed her body freely. Sophie felt his shirt under her fingers and pulled it off, revealing the hot skin beneath. He lifted her against the wall, their ragged breaths entwined. "I've wanted to do this since the first time I saw you," he murmured against her neck. "Then don't stop now." That night was a whirlwind of sensations. Every touch, every kiss, every moan was a reminder that they were crossing all boundaries. What should have been just an affair became something more. They started meeting outside the club. Little meetups, secret dinners, nights stretching into dawn. But the more time they spent together, the more Sophie felt there was something in Adrian he wasn't revealing. One night, after another hotel rendezvous, she broke the silence. "You never tell me about your life outside the club." "Why?" He looked away. "Because you might not like what you'll hear." "Let me decide." He sighed and finally spoke.